What's going on, Red Nation? No matter what nation you're in, this is Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arch, and my name is David Delano. We're only a week away from training camp, so we almost got through this entire off season, and excited about things to come. Throughout this week, we're going to be talking about some of the best case scenarios, and we're not just we gotta talk about everything in between as well. But go ahead and subscribe. Get ready for what should be a very exciting season. If you're NBA fan at all, definitely keep us dialed in to your subscriptions. It's absolutely free. Go ahead and click that button if you're here, and if you like anything that you heard today, go ahead and like as well. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers by opening day if you're watching this over here on YouTube. And if you're watching on Spotify, wherever you're coming from, thank you so much. And we're going to go ahead and first topic today is going to be Kevin Durant. And there's so many different ways and so many different times throughout this season. Kevin Durant's going to obviously be a huge part of if this season can be all that it could possibly be. Interesting thing here with Kevin Durant being with the Rockets, being reunited with actually a lot of different guys on this roster, going all the way back to Jeff Green, and it really shows how legendary. I mean, we already know how legendary Kevin Durant's career has been. When you look at him and Jeff Green, were actually drafted together with the Seattle Supersonics and played together as rookies back in 2007. Rockets assistant coach Royal Ivey was a teammate with Kevin Durant back with Oklahoma City back in 2011. You also had Ime Udoka, who played against Kevin Durant in the NBA back in 2009. Steven Adams joined the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2013. Teammates with Kevin Durant there. And Kevin Durant also reunited with Jeff Green back in 2020 with the Brooklyn Nets. He was on the Udoka joined the staff was on the staff as an assistant with the Brooklyn Nets, coaching Kevin Durant in 2020 as well. Josh Okogie joined Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant and Josh Okogie became teammates in 2023. So a lot of different ties that Kevin Durant has with this roster, and him and Udoka have worked together before. And as we talk about Durant, I want to get the pulse of some of the fans out there, some of the Rockets fans, because when we first started this podcast about 3.5 months ago, right around the time we started this, right around the time of the NBA Finals, right before there were a lot of obviously free agent and trade rumors, but at the time we started this, Kevin Durant was still a member of the Phoenix Suns. There was a lot floating out there. Obviously, things went south in that situation, and he, demanded. Then he started to pick the teams that he was open to being traded to. At that time, there were a lot of fans in the comments, and I definitely understand it, who didn't want to, weren't really the most excited about seeing Kevin Durant. I had even proposed some trades. I read some different trade rumors from other people. I even came up with a couple myself. People weren't really fans of him, and I get it. In all of those trades, and hats off to the Rockets. The Rockets were giving up more for Kevin Durant in all of those hypothetical trades than I believe they ended up giving up when it actually happened. So at the time, there were a lot of people who weren't extremely excited about Kevin Durant coming to Houston, Kevin Durant being washed. So my question for you, and even when you look at him being, going up against him for so long, and Kevin Durant, LeBron, no matter how great they are, there's a lot of people that for various reasons don't like him, and that's that really goes with all a lot of great players. I mean, even rest in peace to Kobe, but there were a lot of people who didn't like Kobe. I mean, it was kind of a love him or hate him type guy. The things with him and Shaq. I mean, it seems like old news now, but at the time, it was a very real thing that a lot of people A lot of these superstars are going to carry big opinions, so they're going to have a lot of haters. They're going to have a lot of people that follow them as well, even if they're on the other team. So what I want to know is that I've seen this floating around online and on social media from some Rockets fans that it's going to be hard to cheer for Kevin Durant, even though Rockets fans have been cheering against Kevin Durant for so long that accepting him and cheering for him is going to be difficult. So I want to know if you're out there, if you're accepting Durant with open arms, um, or if it's going to be a little hard to cheer for him. And honestly, a lot of it's going to change. Winning really does cure so much. If Kevin Durant comes and delivers a championship, I think people are going to be on board. If the season starts to kind of go worst case scenario, if this team it doesn't improve from last season, I think he's going to definitely take a lot of heat. So, but I think that that's an interesting thing as far as where Rockets fans really are with Kevin Durant, and if because even for a lot of people who were on the fence about Kevin Durant, I think in my opinion, most of the people that I saw on the fence about Kevin Durant were on the fence because you didn't want to break up this team and you didn't want to give up too much. You didn't want to give up away all the draft picks in the future. But when you look at what the Rockets actually gave up, I think that it really changed the tune for so many people, and I feel great about the trade overall. And I don't want to say be disrespectful, say low risk, high reward. Jalen Green, obviously, and Dylan Brooks, key contributors. But when you look at the depth of this team and what we were able to replace them with, it definitely was a trade that I get behind. And I want to give credit to where I saw this next article published over on Space City Scoop by GC Bellchamber. And, nice headline. It says it's not even training camp and the Rockets already have a Jabari Smith problem. And basically what this article is about, and you guys can read it on Space City Scoop, which is not, I'm not on Space City Scoop, but giving credit to them for, publishing this. But basically it's kind of talking about Jabari Smith started his first 155 games as a Rocket. And then, when he ran into... So last season, as Jabari dealt with some injuries, played 57 games. Was his lowest so far out of his first 3 seasons, and he started in 39 of those. Still, Jabari's averaged over 30 minutes a game in his first 3 seasons. So, the quote unquote Jabari Smith problem is he going to be in the starting lineup? He's got Thompson confirmed going to be in the starting lineup along with Van Fleet, Şengün, and Durant. So it's a matter of who's going to be that fifth starter. And we've talked about that, and we'll get into it again. We did a show. We talked about a lot of the different potential lineups, and I really think that that's going to be fluid. If you look at, I think Jabari's probably going to start. I think Jabari's probably going to start about 70% of the games that he's healthy for this year. So I do think that overall he's going to be that fifth starter in a lot of situations. But at 22 years old, I'm not sure how big of a deal it's going to be if he doesn't. I mean, he didn't start in 18 out of 57 games last year. So, when you look at it like that, he already didn't start in a third of the games. I think that he's going to start in about that same amount. And when you really look at it, I mean, how big of a deal is it really with starting? And I know that I'm a believer of, and I was always told, it's not really about who starts. It's really who finishes. And I understand that a lot of people can say, well, Kevin Durant's not going to come off the bench. Şengün's not going to come off the bench. I get it, but a guy like Jabari, I mean, we know you're not the number one option on this team, but 22 years old and obviously a very, very important option on this team. So whether you're fifth man, sixth man, seventh man, I mean, if you're getting those 25 to 30 minutes and in there in the big moments, I don't think that it matters really too much. I think Jabari, he's got his contract, 5-year, $122 million deal. And I think Jabari's going to be fine overall, regardless of when he comes in. I think it's going to be a lot of it's going to be matchup based. I think we're going to see a lot of times maybe with two big men. We may see Steven Adams start. I think we're going to see Koji start. We're going to see a few different things. I mean, I think I'd say, Adams, Koji, and Jabari probably are going to be the guys that are going to be starting the most. You'll see if Tari even gets some love here and there based on the situations. But this is a complete team, so I don't. Oh, and I'm thinking of Code. I'm Dorian Finney-Smith, of course, as well. So we're going to go ahead and see what happens there. But obviously, upside with Jabari. I can almost see a situation where, Dorian Finney-Smith starts, but Jabari Smith plays more of the minutes. So I don't think that that's going to be too big of a deal in that situation, but wanted to go ahead and talk about that. All right, so the 2011-2012 Rockets season for our Rockets history. Going through all these years of history, you realize, all the different lockouts that have been in history. So this was only a 66 game season that was cut short, obviously. We'll start it late. And Kevin McHale, first year as head coach for the Houston Rockets. Rockets went 34-32 this season, which was good for ninth in the Western Conference, 2 games behind the Utah Jazz. So there was no postseason. And mentioned one of the more memorable recent second round picks for the Houston Rockets this year. Picked in the second round, number 38 overall, was Chandler Parsons, who has definitely had an interesting career. One of my personal favorite players of all time. Only played 8 games with the Rockets this season, but always been a big fan of Earl Boykins. Remember even watching him in college live when he played for Eastern Michigan. 5'5", only played 8 games for the Rockets, but averaged 4.9 points per game. But always admired the career of Earl Boykins. But on that Rockets season, he had Kevin Martin, led the team, but only played 40 out in 40 games, started 40 games, 17.1 points per game. This was a very, very average team. Had some fun players to watch, though. Kyle Lowry, Luis Scola, Courtney Lee. But fun to watch. First year, new era under Kevin McHale, the 2011 and 2012 Rockets. This was a season where the preseason was in late December. So overall, a lot of times for me, just being honest, sometimes the NBA. One thing I do like about the NBA Cup, some people may have issues with it, but I think that it's going to bring a lot of excitement to the beginning of the NBA season, because sometimes for me, before Christmas, I was one of those guys where, I mean, you get into it, but sometimes you just feel like the games don't matter, and more so you felt like you're seeing that with the reflection of the players. But this was one of the in the effort, but this was one of those seasons that didn't begin until the end, towards the end of December. So kind of skipped right past that what felt like meaningless basketball, but a little bit of a forgotten season because the season started late. Didn't really have a superstar on this team. I mean, it was the Kevin Martin, Luis Scola, Kyle Lowry years. Very exciting, some exciting players, but didn't make the playoffs. But it was the beginning of the Kevin McHale era with the Rockets there. And that season, that 2011 and 2012 NBA season, this ended up with a championship where the Miami Heat won their first title, taking down the Oklahoma City Thunder, which had the trio of future Rockets and Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, who we'll all be getting into a little bit, talking about pretty soon here on our Rockets history segments at different times. So thanks so much for watching. My name is David Delano. This has been Rockets Daily. And yes, has my voice been a little bit hoarse? I don't know if you could tell, but yes, it has been. But thanks so much for bearing with me. God bless and have a great day.